Yeah, these next three problems, we're going to be factoring, and it's called factoring by grouping. So there's different techniques of factoring. This one here is a little different than some of the other things we've been doing. But these trinomials all look the same after a while. We better get started because I'm going to try to fit 3 of them in this one video, or I'd just end up making a video just for one problem. Okay, well, you can try the technique that we were using earlier, but it's going to be kind of tough, I promise. 2 numbers multiplied together gives you 10, and then, yeah, forget about it. Okay. What you may actually be given at first is this. 3x squared plus 6x plus 5x plus 10. Okay, so take a close look here. We know 6 and 5 is 11x. So we know that both of those are equal to each other. But what I'm going to do next is going to be mind-blowing. Not really. If you noticed here, 3x squared and 6x, if I factored a 3 out of both of those and an x, we'd be left with x plus 1. No, x plus 2. 3 goes in 6 2 times. You'd be left with x plus 2. Let's just do it. Let's stop talking about it and let's do it. So 3x, let's factor this out. We're left with an x plus 2. Right? Now look at over here. 5x and 10. If I factored out a 5, we'd be left with x plus 2. See that? Now what do you think's coming next? Well, if you factored out an x plus 2 out of this whole thing, since we have an x plus 2, in both those terms, we'd be left with 3x plus 5. Right, see that? I just pulled this x plus 2 out of the hat. And what do we have? Well, it sure wasn't a rabbit. Well, now it's been factored completely. It's been factored completely. So this is called factoring by grouping. You better hope they just give you that. It's kind of tough to go from here to this step here. It can be kind of difficult. All right, like I said, we're gonna try to work 3 problems in this section video. All right, so we better get going and stop talking about rabbits being pulled out of hats. Whoever came up with that idea, I don't know. Okay, this particular one here, ooh, we got to break this 18 up somehow. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 5x squared plus, what about 15x plus 3x? And then plus 9. We know that 15 and 3 is 18. We know that 5 goes into 15, and we'll be able to pull that out, and an x. And also we know that 3 goes into 9 3 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. You see that? 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So that's kind of a clue. We're trying to break these things up. I'm going to pull out a 5x. That's going to give me an x plus 3. There. We factored a 5x. Let me underline it. We factored a 5x out of both these terms. And in the first term, we're left with an x. In the second term, we're just left with a 3. Okay, so you should be catching on to that by now. Let's pull the 3 out of the hat. And it reveals an x plus 3. So what's going on here? We have an x plus 3 and an x plus 3. So we can go ahead now and factor out that x plus 3. Right? Remember, always put parentheses around everything. So we're left with a 5x plus 3. Okay? Completely factored. Now, if you multiply this stuff out, like you should to check your work, you better be getting that. Right? Once you simplify. We're about to run out of room here. And that's not good. So what I'm going to have to do is we are going to have to look here. There's JFK. Oh my God, you don't even want to know about that. Don't even ask. I had to do some serious math for somebody just recently. And it involved calculus. And for one problem, they wanted to know how long it took JFK's car to get to the second underpass. Anyway, I think the other one was they were wanting to know how tall somebody was at 800 feet if you measured him 2 feet out in front of your eye with a ruler. That was just some simple trigonometry. What do we got? You wouldn't believe the problems that I'm contracted to do. Okay, let's take a look at this quickly because we're at 7 minutes and 37 seconds already in our lives. What's going on here? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Let's see. I'm going to rewrite this. 16x squared. So we got to somehow split this up. 16. First, can I even factor anything out of that? 16, 22, and 7? No, I can't. Okay, let's see here. 14 and 8. Is that 22? 14 and 8. I'm sitting here trying to think. Oh my goodness. Hmm. 8 and 14. 8 and 14. What did I say? 8 and 14. Let's see. 8 and 14 and 8. 22. Yeah. I don't know. I've worked so much this stuff that you get what's called an intuition. Let's cut that out. What did I say? 8 and 14. 8. Whoops. 8. No, what did I say? Yeah, 8 and 14. Minus 8 minus 14x plus 7. Okay. We got to move on with our lives. if I factored, let's see, 8 goes into 16, 7 into 14. Okay, if I factored out an 8x, what are we left with? 2x minus 1. And if I that's a minus, that's a plus, so we're going to have to factor out, 7, 2x minus 1. Oh my gosh. 2x minus 1. Right, want to pull that out, so we're left with 8x minus 7 to be completely factored. Whoa. Chances are you'll be just given this and go from there. It's really tough when you start here, and it takes some practice. All right, well, that ends this. We're at 11 minutes now. That's going to end this for factoring trinomials for right now anyway. And we're going to be moving into something else. Can't remember what the topic is. Whoa, solving quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, so I'll see you in that section there.